率はもっと高いイメージあるんで、来年やりましょうってぐらいの感じです。
Yeah, he wants to do it next year.
Brian Norman?
Yeah, 2025.
Okay, maybe
he's pretty confident that he can win over him.
Yeah.
And he thinks that Boots Ennis is the top guy of the welterweight. So.
Jin.
Thank you.
Jin, what title? Brian Norman.
Brian Norman.
Yeah.
Title match.
Next fight.
Next fight. This year.
Okay. Come to America. Or Japan.
Japan.
Okay. Anywhere. Okay.
Thank you.
Hey guys, 1 second. Jin Sasaki from Japan has a little present for Brian Norman.
Let's see.
Oh.
This is a challenger's letter, and I brought it with me.
Congratulations, champion. I'm Jin Sasaki, the man who will become Japanese first welterweight world champion. I'm confident that I'll win against the great champion of you, Norman. Please have a short break. Then let's decide the youngest welterweight world champion. Japan isn't lower weight classes. Let's get to the fight. Thank you, Las Vegas.
Okay.
Norman, what do you respond to that?
My response to that is I love his confidence. I love the fact that he's coming after me, but that's what he's supposed to do. Right now, I'm trying to get these belts out here. If I can't get that done, or even bigger fight, I definitely fight my man right here. So I appreciate him for coming out here, trying to see me, trying to make this fight happen. So, hey, we can make it happen. I'm down for it.
I feel like there's some big games.
When you get that letter and you just come in.
I feel like Brian Norman Jr. and I'm down for anything.
Brian, there's some good gates, good money to be had out in Japan. Are you down to defend the title on the road for that fight?
Oh, definitely. I love going to other people's hood all the time. So, shoot, I'm fighting on Japan anyway. On you.
Did you, if you're going to Japan, were you ever a fan of any Japanese, any video games, Dragon Ball Z, anything?
Oh, Dragon Ball Z for a fact. Yeah, I ain't gonna hold you. I'm cooler than a silly fan, but your boy will be watching anime like it ain't nothing. What is that? How's it be no Impo, no Ippo? But I watched it this morning, man. So,
You're a Goku or Vegeta guy.
I'm gonna go Goku, but yeah. All right, how about this? Naruto or Sasuke? I'm gonna go Sasuke. That boy that hard. Yeah.
ここにいるうちの本物のスクールスポーツのために行こうぜベイビーバンとの国には気をつけて、現実になることがありますからね。
The untouchable True School Sports Empire. And y'all know the rest, man. Now listen, we're going to continue the long-standing tradition of covering Japanese boxing in America. True School Sports, the #1 source of boxing in America. From an American. Arigato gozaimasu. Thank you to everybody watching this video. And ayete okata. Nice to see all the lovely viewers around the world. Now listen, guys. I could bore you to death with Brian Norman Jr. versus Derek Cuevas, okay? Credit to Brian Norman Jr. I didn't think he was going to get Derek Cuevas out of the ring that early. I thought, 7 rounds, somewhere around there, he'd knock out Derek Cuevas. He got him out of there in 3 rounds. So he actually exceeded my expectations. So when you exceed expectations and you overperform, and you over-deliver, I got to give you your credit. So credit to, and a big tip of the cap goes to the brother from Atlanta, Brian Norman Jr. He went and he did his damn thing tonight. But listen, that's not the real story. That's not the main point of this video, because I finally get to come on here on YouTube and I finally get to talk about something that I really want to talk about, because there's so many fights in boxing, and this is the home of boxing, and this is the home of Japanese boxing in America, and I cover a lot of boxing, and a lot of times I cover these fights and I make these videos because you guys want to hear about these fights, but sometimes it's not always what I want to talk about, right? But this fight, if you follow this channel, you know that this is a fight that I've wanted to talk about. I've been talking about for a while. Actually, since September. I've been talking about this fight since September of 2024, because I think it's one of the best fights in boxing, and it's Brian Norman Jr. versus Jin Sasaki for the WBO title. I want to see this fight, right? And so Jin Sasaki, he flew all the way from Japan to Las Vegas, to the Fontainebleau, to call out Brian Norman Jr. And that's what he did. He had his speech. He spoke in English, and he said, pretty much to summarize it, he said, I want to fight you. I want to become the first Japanese welterweight champion. And Brian Norman Jr., I like Brian Norman Jr. You know what? I fuck with Brian Norman Jr. You know, I kind of feel bad for even saying anything negative when the whole boost thing is going on, because he's a cool guy. He's really cool. Like, he's just cool. He said he'll go to Japan. He got no problem going to Japan because he loves fighting in people's backyards. So he's got no problem with it. He's down for the fight. Of course, if he can't get the bigger fights against the Jerron Ennis and the other champions of the division. I understand. So, listen, I want to see this fight. I think it's one of the most explosive fights in boxing. You know, Brian Norman Jr., explosive puncher. Jin Sasaki, explosive puncher. They're both really explosive. They both got their fair share of vulnerabilities. I just think their styles would mesh very, very well. And there's a lot of great storylines going into the fight. So that being said, man, this really got me hyped, man. It's great. I'm glad this happened because now people are asking me about a fight that I actually want to talk about, which is Brian Norman Jr. versus Jin Sasaki. Now, off rip, just being objective here, because I do like Jin. I never had the opportunity to meet Brian Norman Jr. yet. I want to. I would love to have him on the channel. I got a lot of respect for him. But you know, I think right now I will favor Brian Norman Jr. in the fight just because Jin Sasaki, his defense is very, very poor. You know, just being honest, I didn't like what I saw his last fight. And you can't be, you know, a samurai warrior at the world level at every fight. You know, you're going to fight someone and that samurai warrior spirit is going to go against you, right? And Brian Norman Jr. is devastatingly strong, extremely strong. One of the strongest fighters in boxing, I think, you know, in terms of raw power. When he hits you, people feel it, right? And I think with him being champion, he's gotten more confidence. I saw it tonight, you know, against Cuevas, the way he used his jab, the way he was just setting things up. You know, he looks like he's matured just by becoming champion. He's certain confidence about him that's there that wasn't there. He's, as he said during fight week, he's getting comfortable. So I want to see this fight. If I had it my way, like, the Boots fight is cool, but like I don't even care about that fight. I'd rather see this fight. And I know I'm in the minority. I know I'm in the minority because I'm the Japanese boxing guy in America, and I do like Jin Sasaki. But it's just like, man, Jin is different, man. He's a different type of person. He's not like most Japanese fighters. Like, he actually made an effort to speak English. He actually made an effort to really and truthfully like call out an American fighter on American soil. And it's like Japanese fighters don't do that, you know. For people who haven't been to Japan, like, Japan is a very, how do I say it? It's like a very, it's very hard when you're in Japan to come to the States as a tourist. Like, I as a tourist, as who spent, you know, a month or 2 or 3 months in Japan, it's hard to come back to American culture and get used to it. It really is, because it's a different world over there. But I can't imagine someone who grew up in Japan trying to come to America and do what Jin did. That's very amazing what he did. So I commend him, because I've never seen no Japanese fighter do that. And when I was in Japan and I had the honor to cover the Naoya Inoue Ji Jun Kim fight, he called out Brian Norman Jr. on this channel in English, even in more fluent English than he did tonight. So I would love to see this fight. I think the boxing fans will get a great, entertaining fight they did. And, you know, I favor Brian Norman right now, but I admire the bravery of Jin Sasaki. His people are very confident, you know, the Hachiyoshi Nakaya boxing gym and all parties involved on that side. They believe Jin can do it. And obviously, Brian Norman, I love the way he carries himself. I love how he has confidence in himself. You know, he don't just tell you that he's a world champion. He don't just tell you that you're great. He tells you that you're talking to a future legend. And that's how people should speak about themselves. So, you know, fair play to him. Great performance tonight against Derek Cuevas. If the Boots fight can happen, obviously that's great. That would be a big shot of a big injection into American boxing that we desperately need. But I'll tell you right now, if it don't happen, listen, it's so amazing that this is happening, because I've been saying this for months. I'm like, look, if these big fights can't happen, then you know who these guys that come see. It's Jin Sasaki from Japan. So I'm happy. I'm happy this happened, and I'm happy that you know, and not just that. As you guys saw in the beginning of this video, Brian Norman Jr. said that. And credit to Sean Tatel, you know, one of the best in the business, my dear friend. Brian Norman Jr. is an anime fan, even bigger than me. Like, I mean, I like Hajime no Ippo, but like that's about where it ends for me. He like Hajime no Ippo, which makes him like 100 times cooler in my eyes. He likes Naruto. He likes you know, Dragon Ball Z. So like he's cool, man. He's cool, man. He's a cool guy, and he's a very dynamic young talent, and he's still developing and getting better. And he exceeded my expectations tonight. I knew he was gonna win. I knew he was gonna get a stoppage. I just didn't think it'd be in 3 rounds. And so he definitely exceeded what I thought he would do tonight. And I hope that we get this fight at some point. If we can't get it because he fights Boots, and I'm not gonna complain. But yeah, really cool stuff. Really cool stuff from Brian and Jen. I just think it's a really explosive fight. Brian Norman Jr. is getting better with his boxing skills. He's a very dynamic offensive fighter. But I think Jin Sasaki is a very dynamic offensive fighter, and he's very tough. You know, he's already had a fight in his career where he got dropped and got up off the deck and he stopped Keito Obara. So he's showing you when the going gets tough, he can bite down to that gum shield. But you can't be tough every fight because this is a fight where you can be too tough for your own good. So in a perfect world, I would like to see Jin have a tune-up fight and work on his defense a bit more. But listen, he's saying he wants that fight next. So if we can't get Boots, then shit, give him what he's asking for. And let's see who's who in the welterweight division. I ain't against it. You know, Brian should beat him. But if not, if you don't beat him, then, you know, Japan gonna have its first welterweight champion. So it's amazing because I talk about like I feel like in boxing, a lot of the boxing world overlooks true school sports and what I say on here, and then shit plays out on the big stage, and I was already 6 months, 7 months, 8 months ahead. So if y'all would have been paying attention to true school sports, y'all would have known that this was a fight that was in play. But nonetheless, you know, I'm a big fan of both guys, and I hope that this is a fight that can happen sooner rather than later because I think it's an amazing fight for the welterweight division. And as I was saying in Japan to Jin when I interviewed him, and as I've said in my other videos, I think it is one of the most entertaining and one of the best fights in boxing. And on top of that, I think if presented with the opportunity to fight in Japan, I think Brian Norman Jr. would actually get paid very well because the Japanese are eager to see a welterweight champion from their soil. Obviously, Brian is going to do everything he can in his power to not allow it to happen. And I think he probably would beat Jin right now because Jin's defense needs a lot of work. But that being said, I think because they're confident in their guy, they pay him well. Probably better than a lot of fights that Top Rank would have from outside of Boots. So I'll leave it at that, man. You know, you guys can have your Michaela Mayer, Sandy Ryan. I'll talk about that later on. You could have your William Zepeda versus Tevin Farmer. You can have all these fights. I don't even care about none of that right now. Brian Norman versus Jin Sasaki. This is like one of the top 5 fights I want to see the most in boxing. Maybe I gotta do that video, the top 5 fights true school sports want to see in boxing. But this would be on that list. It probably might even be in the top 3. You know, I want to see it that badly. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. Like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. For more great boxing content just like this, make sure you guys click right over here.
Keep watching my boy BT put on the best interviews out here.